Luke. I'll be your teacher for this live class. Now, before we get started, I need to make sure that we're live. So give me a second. I'm sure we are. I mean, if you're watching this, then it must be. But I need to know for my own satisfaction. So give me a second. Today we have some interesting things planned. I will let you know what those things are in just a second. But rest assured, they are extremely interesting. More interesting than you could possibly even imagine. Well, maybe not that interesting. You can probably imagine. Yeah, I think we're good. Just update the card here. So, if you don't know me, my name is Luke. I am an American English teacher. I've been teaching English for about 40 or 50 years, and I do my best to help those of you who are trying to improve your English become more natural, confident English speakers. That is my goal. That is what I'm trying to do. And I do that by answering your questions, sharing tips and tricks, and giving you the tools that you need to develop an English-speaking, English-learning lifestyle. That is what we want. Okay, we're definitely live. Now, that means that I'm here to answer your questions. So, make sure you have questions ready to go. If you're here live, if you're watching this after, then make sure you subscribe so that you can see when the next live classes happen. That's very important. If you have questions and you are live, then I will do my best to answer them if you're joining the live stream itself. I can't answer always every question. In fact, I don't think I ever answer every question, but I try my best, and I usually focus on questions that I feel can benefit the most people. So think of your question from that point of view. What question can I ask that will benefit the most people and myself, right? And so, what does this word mean is probably not something that's going to benefit a lot of people if it's something that anyone could just look up in the dictionary, right? That's kind of a rule of thumb that you can keep in mind. So subscribe, hit the bell, that would be good. Also hit the like button. Later in this class, we're going to be doing a course giveaway. Yes, a course giveaway. One of you is going to get a free course. What do you have to do to qualify? You have to ask an interesting question, and I will put you in a drawing, and one of you will win. That's how it's going to go. Okay. Let's see here. Who do we have? We've got Karina. She's here. We've got Lolly. We've got Ahmed or Ahmed, or is it Ahmed or Ahmed? Sorry, I'm not sure the pronunciation. Emin is here. Kim is here. Hello. Lolly just signed up for some courses, I believe. Unless I am mistaken. I hope Lolly, you enjoy them. Yeah, guys, we are doing a special deal right now for a very short, very limited time. Probably too low of a discount. About 80% off the normal price is the all courses bundle. That means you can sign up for all of my current courses, which is 11. It's actually 10 because one of the courses is free anyway. So 10 courses for 80% off, and you can check out the link in the description to get that deal. If you have any questions about that, let me know, but now's the time to do it because that's going to expire in a few days. And if you're watching this much later and you don't see that, well, that's very sad. Look out for discounts. It doesn't happen very often. I usually do something like a 10% discount normally, but a big discount like this is very rare, maybe once a year or even less often. Or even never. Except now. Okay. Let's see. Which book are you going to read now? I'm not going to read a book. I'm going to teach you guys how to read books. How about that? I'm going to show you guys the right way to read because I got a really good question about this earlier. Actually, it wasn't a question for me, just a question in the WhatsApp group. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna share this to the group. All right. Hope you guys are having a good week. I'm having a good week. Busy week as always, but a good week nonetheless. For those of you who have taken my courses or are taking courses, I am working on some more. Pretty soon we will have a prepositions course coming out. We will also have a course on writing emails coming out soon. Early next year, a full grammar course coming out. I'm very excited for that as well. All right. Okay, and as I mentioned, we're going to be doing a free giveaway. So make sure you guys have your questions and pop them into the chat so that I can hopefully answer them, and that will qualify you for the giveaway for today. I'm just trying out a random name picker here. How do I actually do the thing? Choose a random name. Ah, okay, that's cool. That works. Hey, Tanya wins. Tanya. Okay. Eamon says, if I studied English with American teachers and some time with British teachers, and I have learned some vocabulary and their sound from both accents, could I use both accents? Well, you can do whatever you want. This is an interesting one. Eamon Saifeddin, not sure how to say that. If I studied English with American teachers and some time with British teachers, and I have learned some vocabulary and their sound from both accents, could I use both accents? There is no rule in the universe that is telling you to speak a certain way. In fact, if you want to speak only a certain way and it's not how you normally speak and you try to force it, for example, if I decided to have a British accent, it would probably sound a bit forced. It would probably sound a bit fake. It might be a little bit annoying to listen to. Wouldn't sound realistic. So if you're not concerned about whether or not pronunciation sounds natural or sounds right according to a certain accent, then just say what you say. Just express yourself how you express yourself. There are people, for example, who were born in the UK but spent most of their lives in the United States, and that affects how they speak. That affects their accent, the way that they communicate. They're not trying to do anything, it's just natural. When I go to Canada and I come back from Canada, sometimes I find myself saying aboot instead of about, because that's how some Canadian people I know say about. And that's not something I'm trying to do, that's something that is kind of stuck to me. So some things that rub off on you when it comes to accent, pronunciation, or word choice, some things are just natural consequences of being around people, of having classes with both American English teachers and British English teachers, and that's fine. Now, if the question is something like, I want to sound more like an American, or I want to sound more like a British English speaker, well, then you have to make some choices to get to a point where you sound naturally more like a British native speaker or naturally more like an American native speaker. What would that be? Well, Americans, for example, we use the R sound. We tend to use the R sound slightly more, or at least stronger, than in the UK. We say whereas in the UK they might say more so. All right, so that's a choice you could make, and you could work on that and work on it to a point where when you speak, people think you sound more American. Now, they'll probably be able to tell that you're not, and I think that's okay. Right? Becoming totally 100% American sounding is, I don't think, even a goal worth pursuing. But getting closer to that so that you sound more American is definitely worth pursuing, especially if it allows you to communicate more naturally with others. So make some choices. choose to maybe focus more on the R sound or less and practice that until it's natural. Until it's natural, because if it's not natural and it sounds forced, like you're pushing it, then it can be a bit awkward. Whenever someone tries to have a fake accent and talk with that fake accent all the time, it's so uncomfortable to listen to. Everybody can tell. It has to be a natural result of just doing that a lot and practicing it a lot. It has to be a natural thing. I had a classmate in high school who decided one day he was going to have a British accent. He spent the next year or two with a British accent, and it was so awkward, and everyone made fun of him because his British accent wasn't that good. It didn't sound natural, and everyone knew he was doing it just to be cool or different, and it wasn't cool at all. So my suggestion is move in the direction of the accent you like, surround yourself more with the accent you like, and allow that process to happen kind of organically or naturally. And don't force anything too much. You can practice, but don't force it. Right? Don't say, tomorrow I will speak with a British accent. That's a little weird. All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Emin or Iman. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the full courses, which are on sale in the links in the description. All right. Hey, Luba's here. Hey, that's great news. Luba was here a couple days ago. Welcome. Good to see you. How to not get nervous around native speakers? That's a good question, too. I should keep notes here for the drawing. Guys, if you're just joining, we're doing a drawing. So somebody today is going to win a free course of their choosing. And the qualification for the choice, for the drawing is that you ask an interesting question. So I answered Iman's question. That qualifies Iman. I'm going to put Potter's name down and Kim's name down. Kim is 14 years old, and I'm living in the U.S. now. I want to be good at English in the next 5 years so I can start my business. Wow, 14 years old, so responsible. Most 14-year-olds are just dancing around on TikTok, aren't they? How can I have an English course for a long time and be really good at it? I love Kim's question here. Okay, so I'm going to read this question again. Kim Sina says, I'm 14 years old, and I'm living in the U.S. now. I want to be good at English in the next 5 years so I can start my business. How can I have an English course for a long time and how to be really good at it? Okay. So the first thing, Kim, and I don't know everything about your situation, but if you're living in the U.S., that's definitely an advantage. However, it's possible to live in the U.S. and not use that advantage if you surround yourself completely with mostly people who speak your native language. For example, maybe you grew up in a Chinese household in the United States. Most of your friends are Chinese. You hang out with mostly Chinese friends. Okay, so you might gradually, you're going to pick up English. You're going to get better at English. But because you're mostly surrounding yourself with one language group, you're going to have a slower time of that. But if you really open yourself to American culture and have lots of native English-speaking friends who grew up or were born in America, or at least speak it at a native level, who you're really good friends with, and you're into what they're into, and they're into what you're into, that's definitely going to help. So if you're in school, you have a great advantage. Now, if you're in school, then that's naturally going to be a huge bonus because your teachers are going to be speaking English, right? But try to do as much as you can to immerse yourself in the culture. It's fine to grow up in a household where another language is spoken. That might give you the advantage of being fully bilingual, native in 2 languages. That's awesome. That's great. It's a huge advantage. But in order to get the native English part right, you have to be fully immersed. If you don't feel that you're fully immersed right now, then you need to do more. That could mean more socialization, making more friends, or it could be more just getting into American culture, whether that's watching movies, listening to podcasts, playing video games, chatting online, maybe doing groups, extracurricular groups after school, join the chess team or the golf team or the volleyball team or whatever. Get involved in it as much as you can, because it's there for you. You're living in the United States. You have a big advantage, right? And the one other thing that I would strongly recommend that is, I think, something a lot of people try to avoid doing is you have to read. If you're not reading, then you're missing something. You're missing something about the foundation of the country. And this is for those of you who aren't living in America. If you're not living in America and you want to have that American sort of, or British or whatever, baseline, foundation, pick up a book and read and find a way to enjoy reading. That is a way to get a sense for how words and phrases are used naturally, how characters speak to each other, how descriptions are sort of put together, right? And if you can get a feeling for that, and if you really enjoy reading and you really enjoy getting involved in the culture, then it's going to be not much of a difficult process for you to become really natural and really fluent in the language. So I wouldn't get too stressed about it, Kim. I would say focus on enjoying it. Focus on getting into it. Focus on building out an English lifestyle that is sort of parallel to your native language that you speak, that lifestyle, maybe in your family, for example. And if you do that for a couple years, by the time you graduate high school, you'll feel very confident to speak English and communicate with others. And do difficult things. If you have the chance to do a presentation at school, and before you said, I shouldn't do that, I'm scared to do that, do it. The more difficult things that you do, the more difficult things that you try to do, the more confidence you're going to build up, the better you're going to get, right? And I think after a few years, you'll be really, really confident in speaking and communicating in English. So that's a really good question. All right, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and also check out the, of course, full courses in the links in the description. Kim says, I really love American culture, but when I surround myself with everything is English, then I somehow forget my language, just a few words, and it's hard for me to communicate with my family. It's not a one or the other sort of thing, though. If you have a family, then communicate with your family in your language daily, the regular everyday stuff, right? And then you have some friends who speak English natively, and you hang out with them, and you have some friends who speak your language natively, and you hang out with them. It's not a one or the other kind of thing, for sure. All right. Potter says, can relate. Kim. Potter feels the same way. Now, Potter has asked another interesting question. How to not get nervous around native English speakers. That's a good one. Okay. Kim, one other thing to keep in mind is there are many people who envy you right now, who envy the fact that you're in the United States, you have the opportunity, you're in school, you have the chance to get into the culture, and there are a lot of people who wish they were in your shoes and would use the opportunity. Okay. Potter Batiste says, how to not get nervous around native English speakers. And I would expand this question to, how can I just not feel nervous around others? Because there are some people who have anxiety problems where they will be afraid to go to a coffee shop and say what they want, let alone stand up in front of a group of 30 people and talk about something, right? The first realization that I think could help you is to realize that it doesn't really matter that much. It really doesn't. If you do something horrible and stupid in front of a group of people, in the large scheme of your life and their lives, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. So all that's on the line is maybe how you feel other people feel about you. And I've found that people who focus a lot on that, how do others feel about me? How do others think about me? Are other people judging me? The people who really focus on that tend to have anxiety issues when they're in social situations. They really care how other people might be thinking about them, how other people might be judging them. But the key to that, or the key word there, is might be, because in reality, it's very unlikely that anybody is judging you. And even if they are judging you, it's a momentary thing that disappears in 5 seconds. They think, oh, what an idiot. And then they move on with their day, and they do their own thing, and they stop thinking about you. They don't really care, right? I've seen things on YouTube, and I thought, what an idiot, right? Someone has done something really stupid. But then I stopped thinking about it, even the dumbest thing you can imagine. So I'm judging that person, right? For a moment, I think, what an idiot, and then I move on. And so if it's just a momentary thing, does it really matter? Does it really matter if other people have a momentary thought of, pfft? It really doesn't. And if you can sort of get yourself to a place where you just don't care that much if people have that momentary thought of, idiot. If you don't care if people have that thought, then you won't feel as afraid to say something, to express yourself, to have a social encounter, right? And I've experienced the feeling. I know the feeling of fear talking to others, or fear of expressing yourself in front of a group. I know. I have a little story to share that might help. It's something that really helped me. I was in my high school. I was the number 2 student in the school, right? Second. There was one girl who was 0.01 in her grades ahead of me. Very frustrating. Anyway, so the responsibility of that person, the salutatorian, is to give a speech at graduation. Now, the graduation speech is in front of perhaps 2,000 people. So you have 2,000 people looking at you. You're an 18-year-old. You wrote this speech, and you have to talk in front of that many people, 2,000 people. And I was really, really nervous about it. Even though I was just reading, I was so nervous about giving this speech, because I'm not only talking to people I don't know, I'm also going to be talking to my classmates who I've been with for 4 years, talking to my family who have driven 3.5 hours to come and see me graduate at the graduation ceremony. So I thought to myself, this must be in my head. This has to be just in my mind. Right? So the first thing I accepted was, this must be in my mind. It doesn't exist anywhere else. This anxiety is inside. So if it's inside me, and if it's nowhere else, then what can I do, or what can I realize that might make me relax and give a better speech? Because if I'm really nervous when I give my speech, I'm going to give a bad speech. And that's going to be worse for me, because then people will really make fun of me later. Oh, what an idiot. Luke, you gave a terrible speech. That was such a stupid speech, right? So I thought, okay, what's the absolute worst thing that could happen? The absolute worst. The worst thing that could happen would be that I maybe accidentally say a bad word in the speech and the whole auditorium starts laughing at me. Ha, 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 ha. And they laugh at me for 10 minutes and I'm just standing there in front of 2,000 people. So I imagined the worst possible situation. And then I went a step further. I used my imagination to then imagine 2 weeks later. And I thought, if 2 weeks later, do you think people will still be walking around thinking about me and how dumb I was for reading or misreading my speech? Probably not. So it'll be this embarrassing thing that happens, and then it'll be done, and it'll be over, and everyone will have moved on with their lives, and they'll be focused on their own things. So in the large picture, who cares? And honestly, that helped me a lot. So as soon as I had that realization, then I thought, yeah, who really cares? All right, maybe they laugh at me. Fine, everyone will laugh at me. Then everyone will forget about it. Everyone will go about doing what they were doing. Who really cares? And then if that happens, then I'll eventually forget about it. That made me relax. Nobody really cares. Nobody cares about me that much. People really just care about their own lives. So then a weight was lifted off my shoulders, and I gave a really good speech. It was a very good speech because I was so relaxed and so comfortable because I really didn't care anymore. That realization is something that you have to discover, and it's something that goes on in here. It's a matter of imagining the worst possible situation and then fast forwarding a little farther and realizing that even the worst possible thing doesn't really matter. And then that might help you relax. So when you're speaking to a native English speaker, if you come here to where I am and we have a conversation right now, I'm a native English speaker, I'm a teacher, I'm looking at you, and you say something wrong, you might be thinking that I'm thinking, okay, I'm an English teacher, this idiot better not say something wrong or I'm going to be really angry. I promise you, I couldn't care less if you say, if you do that, I don't care. That's fine. That's very interesting. I'm not going to judge you, right? People making mistakes in English is part of the process of getting better. I really don't care. And if I really don't care, a native English speaker whose job and business is to teach people English and correct people's English, if I don't care, then who cares, right? Most people don't care, especially when it comes to English. They understand that it's not your native language. So if you keep that thought in your mind, that might help you relax a little bit. And in fact, I care more when I'm speaking with native English speakers and they say something, that's dumb. That would make me more judgmental. They say something that annoys me or that's not very specific. I was talking to someone a few days ago and they weren't being clear, right? It was a native English speaker. They were talking around their main point. They didn't want to say what they wanted to say and they were kind of speaking generally. And I was very annoyed. I thought in my mind, what an idiot. That's what I thought. What an idiot. This is a native English speaker, though. But when I'm talking to most non-native English speakers and they make all kinds of mistakes, I don't feel anything. I really don't care. That's fine. So hopefully that can help you relax a little bit. If it would help you and you want to do a video interview sometime to get over your fear, that would be cool. Let's do a video call. You can get over it. You can get in touch with me, and that will be fine. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Great question, Potter. I appreciate it. Guys, if you have any other questions about this, let me know in the comments. Work on your confidence, not by trying to be more confident, but by trying to not care so much what you think other people think. All right? Good one. Oh, by the way, don't forget to check out my full courses. Those are in the links in the description, and those are on sale. So check those out. All right. Lolly Lolly says, I am too shy, and at the moment, I don't feel like being part of a group. Any advice for me, Luke? Is someone pressuring you to join the WhatsApp group, Lolly Lolly? Well, I would encourage you, if you feel shy and you're not going to improve. If you want to improve, you're not going to improve by not doing it. My motto that works for me pretty well is always choose the path of most resistance. That means you have two options in front of you. Option one, an easier thing. Option two, a slightly more difficult thing. If you go down the slightly more difficult road, then eventually that's going to get easier, and there's going to be a new difficult road for you. So Lolly Lolly, if you're afraid to be in a group, you should join a group. And then you might feel a little nervous at first, or you have some anxiety at first, but then you're going to get used to it and you're going to relax. And then there will be a new challenge in front of you. And then you just remember, always take the road of most resistance. That means choose the harder thing. Always choose the harder thing. Because if you get in the habit of always choosing the easier thing, then life is going to be hard for you. People who choose to do the harder thing, it's strange to say, have easier lives because they're good at life, because they're not afraid of difficulty. And when something difficult comes along, it's no big deal. What do you mean? That's fine. That's not a big deal at all. I do difficult things all the time because I always choose the path of most resistance. Because I choose the path of most resistance, when a hard thing comes along, it doesn't seem that hard. It's not a big deal. Whether that's, I don't know, something in your job or learning something or dealing with people, managing, whatever it is, right? Life is not that hard. It's a giant video game. So that's a good rule that works for me in general, and I think it can work for you for becoming a little bit less nervous. Gabe's 3D videos, he says, any special brother discount? No, in fact, there's a brother tax. So I can give, right, because we're doing the major campaign right now where we're doing the 80% discount, but I think Gabe's 3D videos, he's you guys can check out his channel. He has some cool videos. He's my brother. He's watching right now. I would add 80%. There's an 80% brother tax, in fact. The very opposite. Sorry, Gabe, those are the rules. I don't make them. I just follow them. I only follow the rules. Why is the only watching option 1080p? I don't know. Tesks, you're on Twitch, right? I have no idea. I don't do anything with Twitch. This is just going to Twitch. I've never even looked at my Twitch account. I have no idea. Contact Twitch and tell them how angry you are. Who knows? Gabe's 3D video says, I will save up for paying the brother surcharge tax. Yeah, you got to save up for that. It's very expensive. I always charge family members more. Much more. It's my rule. Always charge family more. It's my two rules. Always choose the path of most resistance. Always make your family pay more. Okay. I know you guys, there's a lot of questions coming in. I'll try to get to them, but let's see. We're doing the drawing later. Guys, if you're just coming in, let me just give a quick update. Later, we're doing a drawing, so one person will win one free course of your choosing. We're doing it based on who asks good questions. So right now we have Eamon Potter Kim, and also I'm going to add who else? Good questions. Have I answered any others from anyone else? We'll get to it. I'm adding the names, and we're going to put the names into a random thing, and it's going to mix them around. It's going to pick one, and someone can win. All right. but I want to talk about the main topic for today. My internet speed is not enough to watch 1080p. I need 480p to watch. It's got to be a Twitch thing. It's got to be a Twitch thing. Kim is going to attend a business event with lots of famous entrepreneurs in Las Vegas. Kim, are you sure you're 14 years old? Why would you be attending a thing with famous entrepreneurs if you're 14 years old? Did you mean 44 years old? This is the first time I'm the youngest among that. How can I... Oh my God. How can I get on with everyone in the most comfortable way? Well, if you're actually 14, you have a huge advantage. You have the advantage if everyone else is much older than you. By the way, I think this situation is weird. A 14-year-old going to meet a bunch of famous entrepreneurs. But if you're 14, you have the huge advantage of being 14. So you stand out, and if you say something weird or if you say something that doesn't fit, people are going to think, okay, the 14-year-old is excited to learn, may have some interesting questions. People will want to probably help you because you're someone with less experience surrounded by very experienced people. People probably will want to help you more. So I would say relax, be yourself, be confident, ask questions even if they're stupid questions, interview people, say, hey, I'm 14, I want to be rich someday, and I want to know how you did it. How did you do it? And they will be very happy to talk to you because they will feel excited that there's someone who is 14 and not just, you know, a dumb kid on TikTok, right? They'll be excited that there's someone who really wants to do something in the world. They'll think that's cool probably, and they will be very happy to give you advice, I think. Yes, start now. That's great. That's great. I'm happy for you. I am happy for you. Okay. So I want to get to the main topic for today. Guys, again, if you haven't, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, of course. Now, I want to talk a bit about a question that I got, or not I got, but a question that I saw earlier today that I think is important to focus on for a few minutes. So we're going to do that, and then I'll get back to the questions. I know I missed a lot of questions, but I'll get back to it, I promise. I promise. If you are an English learner and you're not reading regularly, then you're not doing it correctly. You have to read. Everybody who's learning English needs to read. I would say everybody needs to read, but especially if you want to learn English, you have to read. Now you might be then thinking, wow, why do I need to read? I don't want to talk like a book. Well, but books provide a background and a foundation of usage and structure and context and vocabulary that really helps. It doesn't help directly always, but it does help. People who read are better communicators. People who read are generally smarter, right? They know more things. They have the wisdom of those who have written the books, or the wisdom of those who have maybe who are characters in the books, or whatever. Reading makes you smarter. Reading makes you usually a better communicator, and it can make you much better at the language. Now, one simple advantage of reading is that you have a way to discover words and phrases in context. If you just take a word and say, I'm going to learn this word, you are not learning in context. You're just learning the word. Then I would challenge you to use that word in a sentence. Go ahead. So you know what it means, but you don't know how to use it? That's not cool. But if you learned it in a movie or you learned it in a book, you see it used in a sentence, so you understand the context of the word. And that is one of the things that makes reading as a way to learn English so powerful. You get the benefit of context. this is something that someone actually used. All right. But how do we do this? So we're going to talk a little bit about how to learn words in books. How to learn words in books. Now, I would generally recommend that you read nonfiction, because sometimes fiction has a lot of flowery language. It's not always that common, but you see a lot of high-frequency words in nonfiction. So I'm going to take a look at this book. The book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book has been in print for over 80 years. It's an old book, but it is really good. I recommend it to anyone. And we're going to take a look at a very short part or excerpt of this book, and I'm going to teach you how to learn words using a book. Pretty simple, right? So buy this book first, and let's take a look at it. Here we go. I'm going to read this, and then I want you to think of words that you don't know from what I read, all right? That's what I want you to do as I read it. Emerson said, "Every man I meet is my superior in some way. In that, I learn of him." If that was true of Emerson, isn't it likely to be 1,000 times more true of you and me? Let's cease thinking of our accomplishments, our wants. Let's try to figure out the other person's good points. Then forget flattery. Give honest, sincere appreciation. Be hearty in your approbation and lavish in your praise. And people will cherish your words and treasure them and repeat them over a lifetime. Repeat them years after you have forgotten them. Now this is a good lesson, I think, from the book, but I want to pick out a couple of words here. So let's take the first one that might be unfamiliar to some of you. Let's start with superior. So what do we do first? First, we look at the sentence. Every man I meet is my superior in some way. My superior. Superior. Okay. First, if we don't know this word, can we guess what it might mean from the context alone? Just looking at the context. Is my what? So replace it with what? Every man I meet is my in some way. Well, based on the grammar, if we have my followed by something, it's going to be probably a noun, right? It has to be. It has to be a noun. So we're talking about a noun here. Well, what kind of noun? Well, it's a way that a person can be. We know that, right? It's my something in some way. And we're talking about learning things from people. We're talking about ways that maybe in the later context, someone knows things that we don't know or is good in some way. So we can get a general sense, even if we're not quite sure what exactly superior means. Now, maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but we're just going to look at it as an example, and then we'll look at one other word as well. All right, so what do we do next? The next thing we do is we look it up in the dictionary. Now, I prefer the freedictionary.com. That's a really good dictionary. I would recommend that one. But of course, there are a lot of other choices. You can use dictionary.com. You can use vocabulary.com. There are so many dictionaries. I like the freedictionary.com because it has examples, because it has example sentences and really, really natural or example sentences. So let's take a look. We're going to go over to the freedictionary.com and we're going to look up these words. Okay. So let's hop over here. Oh, let me close that. All right, we're going to hop over here. Oh. Yeah, by the way, guys, we are doing a sale at the moment. This is my website. I know this is a shameless plug. But currently we're doing a really big discount on the courses. So I have full English courses about, for example, expressions, pronunciation, idioms, how to think in English, customer service, a full Master Native English course. And you can see the full price of these: $179, $40, $99. You can see that these are full price here. To buy all the courses, the normal price is $399. For a limited, very limited time, for the next couple of days, we're doing a special thing where you can get the full bundle for $79. So you can sign up for all the courses for that much, which is less than one course, one of, for example, this one. So limited time only. Check it out. The link is in the description. Okay, where were we? Superior. So we look up the word superior in the free dictionary, and we find what? All right, we have adjective, higher than another in rank, station, or authority, of a higher nature. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Of a higher nature, okay? Of great value or excellence. All right, let's look at the nouns. One that surpasses another in rank. Oh, so we have a noun form, okay? And then we have examples for these. We have, for example, an army defeated by superior numbers. Okay, so superior here is used as an adjective, and numbers would be maybe the troops, right? The numbers of enemy troops. Wow, all right. So we can get a sense for it, but here we see it used as a noun. Here we see it used as a noun, one that surpasses another in rank or quality. Okay, so that can help us. Let's see if we can get any others. A person or thing of greater rank or quality. Good. Okay, Lake Superior. Let's see what else we have here. Anything else? One superior to another. Okay, so they're using an adjective to define it. All right. One person or thing is superior to another. They are better than the other. Okay, so we understand pretty clearly now that it means better in some way or higher in some way. All right, so if we go back to what we were reading, does that make sense? Well, let's see. I think it probably will. I need to get rid of myself here. Every man I meet is my superior. Every man I meet is my superior. Okay, so if we said every man I meet is superior to me, then we're using it as an adjective. But if we say my superior, we're using it as a noun to say the person is somehow better than me. All right, so if we talk about someone as being our superior, then that means we think that they are better, but we're using that as a noun. All right, so we could probably then take our understanding of this and make a similar sentence. Okay? How can we do that? Well, let's try an example sentence. This is how you learn. You take it, you look at it in context, you try to understand it without the definition, then you go and look up the definition, the adjective form, the noun form, then you try to make your own examples after you get a sense for it. So let's see if we can make our own. I'm going to try to make my own sentence here. I'm going to do it as an adjective. You are clearly superior to me in tennis. Does that work? Yeah, it's not the best sentence ever, but it makes sense. You are clearly superior to me in tennis. All right, it's a little too formal, but it works. Now let's try to use it as a noun if we can. Can we use it? Can we use it as a noun? Let's try. Stop treating me as a superior. We are on the same level. Stop treating me as a superior. So is indicating that this is a noun. So we're using superior as a noun. Stop treating me as a superior. We're on the same level. All right, that works. So I've made a couple of basic sentences. Nothing that special, nothing that interesting, but it has helped me to get a better feeling for how to use this. Okay? Now, let's go back. Let's look at our text. Let's look at one more word here. Okay? Let me pop up the thing, the text. What is another word that might be difficult for us to understand? Well, how about cease? If that was true of Emerson, isn't it likely to be 1,000 times more true of you and me? Let's cease thinking of our accomplishments, our wants. Okay, cease. Let's something thinking. So what kind of word has to go there? Let's identify what kind of word goes there. Let's something thinking. Let's stop thinking. Stop thinking. Go. Let's go thinking. Something thinking. It's a verb, and we could put a couple of words in there, but stop works, so it might be stop. Let's continue thinking. Could be continue. Let's continue thinking of our accomplishments. Okay, but if we use continue, that's also a verb. So whether it's continue or it's stop or begin or whatever it is, it's going to be some kind of verb. And because it's about an activity, I think it's going to be something like stop, continue, or begin as a verb. All right, so we have a feeling for it in the context. Let's now quickly look at the dictionary definition. So let's do what we did before. Let's pop over to our dictionary. And go to cease. Here we go. And by the way, guys, looks like we've got an ad here for how to easily clean earwax. Don't forget to clean your ears because earwax can cause hearing loss and memory loss. Very important. Also, you can get 2% off this monitor. Very good. Oh, 80% off. Wow. I don't really like that chair, though. No thanks. No thanks. Here we go. Cease. To put an end to. Discontinue. The factory ceased production. See that they have the definitions, or rather the examples here in gold, beside the definitions. To come to an end. Stop. A process that never ceases. To stop performing an activity or action. Desist. Cease from wanderings. Oh, okay. We worked without cease, without stop. Okay, good, got it. Without cease, without stopping. Okay, without cease, without stopping means not stopping. Okay, cease, to stop, discontinue, to come to an end, to pass away, to die out, to cease hostilities. All right. The noise continued without cease. Okay, so we can have this without cease here, meaning something is going on and it's not stopping. And the way to talk about it not stopping is to say without cease. All right, that's interesting. So now we have a better sense for it. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, now what do? Well, we were wondering if cease meant something like begin or continue or stop. Now we know for sure, because we've looked it up in the dictionary, we know for sure that it means stop. All right? So let's try to make a couple of examples. This is the next step in our process. And I haven't planned these examples. I'm just making examples. I thought the one of the interesting things that we learned there is without cease as a kind of phrase that's common. She studied without cease for months prior to the exam. How about that? She studied without cease for months prior to the exam. Now, what would be different than if we just said she studied for months prior to the exam? I think it helps us to emphasize how much she's studying. There is no breaks. She's eating, sleeping, and studying. She's not taking any time out for fun or video games or whatever. All right. Let's try one with cease. Let's try one with cease. If I cease my diet now, not diet. If I cease my diet now, I'll probably gain weight during the holiday season. Hey. If I cease my diet, I'll probably gain weight during the holiday season. If I stop my diet, I'll probably gain weight during the holiday season. Yeah, that works. So again, I'm not saying these examples are great. I'm not saying they're interesting. They're not. They're boring sentences. But what it's doing is giving me a link back to the text. Here's the word. It's in context. I try to understand it without looking up anything. Once I have a general sense for at least the kind of word that it is, okay, it's probably a verb, then I go look it up. I check the dictionary. I search in the dictionary. I find some examples. I get a feeling for it there. Then I make my own examples. I practice making a few sentences. Now, at least, I feel that I understand the word. I know how it's used. I know how people are using it. So that's what you can do. That is how you learn from reading. That is the right way to do it. And if it's hard, if you think, oh, this is not fun, I don't enjoy it, think about it this way. You can either study words endlessly in a dictionary or make lists and not know how to use them, and you learn 50 but you don't know how to use them. Or you can spend a little more time and a little more effort learning 10 words that you deeply understand, that you know how to use. So you put more time into each one. Yes, that's a time investment. That's an energy investment. But now you have a deeply better understanding of that word that you're learning in context. And you have the advantage of seeing it in the sentence, right? So that's a great advantage of reading. There are many other benefits to reading. Read, read, read. Very important. Very important to start reading. And use what you're reading as a way to discover new words to learn. All right? If you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button. That would be great. And don't forget to check out my full courses, which are on sale in the links in the description. All right. Good. What do you guys think? Comments, thoughts, questions, concerns? We got cease and also lavish. We didn't look up all the words. We could have spent more time on it. We could have spent more time on it, I suppose. Okay. Jeet says, hi Luke, there are some words which are neither homophones nor homographs. Still, they confuse, like facilitate and felicitate and international and versus let me see here. Hi Luke, there are some words which are neither homophones nor homographs, still they confuse. Facilitate versus felicitate. Actually, I don't know that word. Felicitate. I don't know that word. International versus international versus international. You've written the same word twice. How do you handle them? That's the same word twice. How do you handle them? In pronunciation or in meaning? Pronunciation or meaning, Jeet? Pronunciation or meaning? Could you be a little bit more specific? Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Sir, I'm from Bangladesh. Every day I check out your YouTube video and live video. I love your videos. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shahin. I appreciate that. Yep, it's all in your head. Okay, which is the best? Speak like a native speaker, sound with some missing grammar rules, or speak like a robot full of grammar? Speak like a native speaker. Speaking like a robot is never good. I watch English movies with the subtitles in English. Do you think it will improve my vocabulary and fluency? Well, fluency, probably not. Watching movies isn't a way to become more fluent. You can only become more fluent by practicing speaking. But watching English with subtitles can improve your vocabulary in the same way that we were talking about reading. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to update my list here. Guys, remember we're doing the giveaway. I'm adding Jeet. I'm adding ALEIDA to the list. I'm writing down the people who've got interesting questions here. I've got also Iman here and Vladislav. This is an interesting question. Vladislav says, so what about books? What books are worthy to read to improve language skill? And I think the simple answer for this one is to read what you like. That is not too easy so that you understand 100% and not too difficult so that you want to constantly give up. It's got to be right on the line. So something like How to Win Friends and Influence People will probably have enough new language for the average English learner and won't be so easy that you understand every single word. Now, I talked about this, I believe, yesterday, but usually nonfiction is going to be better than fiction because nonfiction is written to be understood and fiction is written to paint a picture in your mind, right? So there's more flowery language in fiction compared to nonfiction, whereas nonfiction generally has to be clear, to the point, clear examples, and it's the ideas that the author is trying to communicate to you, right? And we read a little bit of that earlier. How to Win Friends and Influence People, other nonfiction books like that, The Power of Habit, and $100 Startup. There's so many books. I would encourage you to have two things in your mind. One is, where is that difficulty line when you read the first few pages? Do you understand about 70 to 80% of it? That's probably the right level. And two, am I interested in this topic? Do I like it? If you don't like the topic, if you're not interested in it, then don't read it, right? Interest is an important part because that's what gives you the energy to continue. If you don't like it, then you won't have the energy to continue. And if you don't have the energy to continue, then you'll likely quit. And if you quit, then you won't improve. So always follow your interests and use your interests as the source of your energy. Hope that makes sense. It's okay to read fiction, but I would say nonfiction is probably better overall as a type to read because it's written to be understood. Good question though. If you haven't already, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out my full courses in the links in the description. Okay. Let me put your name down too, Vladislav, Vladislav. If I'm not saying your name correctly, my deepest and sincerest apologies. Okay. Jeet says, sorry, it's international versus intranational. If you're talking about pronunciation, Jeet, then you have to just, there are some words that are similar in pronunciation. So there you have to just listen to the pronunciation over and over and repeat using the shadowing technique until you are sure that you can say the differences. But anywhere where you can find the meanings of words, you can find the sounds of words. For example, the dictionary.com or the free dictionary or whatever. You can search a word and it'll have a little sound logo there. Click on it many times. International, international, international. Then search intranational, intranational, international, trinational. Okay, so they are different, but they're close. And if I play them each 20 times, I can hear the differences. If I'm doing the shadowing method, which is trying to repeat the sounds, not the words, but the sounds that I hear, then over time I'll be able to get the difference. So these are words that are, as you said, not homophones, but very close. And it's just a matter of repetition. Repetition, listening, careful awareness of the different sounds, and then repetition in saying the sounds that you hear. Hi, Luke. How's it going? What is correct? My sister and me or my sister and I? My sister and I is the one that you're supposed to say. The teachers teach you to say is my sister and I, and then say what you did, right? But if you say my sister and me, from the common usage perspective, it's totally fine. Probably though, most people would say me and my sister. Me and my sister did what together? Me and my sister went shopping. That's totally fine. So they're both correct. One is sort of the English teacher's answer, which is my sister and I, and the other is, yeah, everybody says my sister and me. Although me and my sister would be more common. So both are okay. Gassan says, watching from Iraq. Oh, cool. Or Iraq or Iraq. All right. What else do we got today? What else have we got? All right. So I think we can do the drawing pretty soon. Again, I'm going to put in the names. If I missed any questions, let me put in Richard's name here. I'm going to just people who have asked questions, I'm putting the name so that one person can win one free course. As I mentioned also, guys, if you don't win, we're doing a huge sale right now. The sale is 80% off of my full courses. I showed you this earlier, but I showed you this earlier, but normal price for all of the courses. And by the way, guys, this is about what? 50 hours of content. I mean, it's a huge amount of content, very specific content, right? Normally, all of them $3.99, and that's actually a good price as well. But now, for a very limited time, it is this much off. It's a huge discount. So check that out. It's in the link in the description. If you don't win the giveaway, then now's the time to grab it. A few people already have, which is cool. I've seen the notifications. But yeah, check that out, guys. Seriously. All right. Shall we do it? We say Iraq as Iraq. Okay. Iraq. All right, let's do the thing. I've got a randomizer here. It allows me to put in names and then do a drawing. So I'm going to put in the names of the people who have asked questions today, and I'm going to pop them into the generator, and then it's going to pop a name out, and I'm going to say that name, and the name I say is the person who wins. And if you win, you can let me know which course you want, and I will give you a 100% coupon to that course so that you can access it for free. I'm just doing this week. I probably won't do it very often, but this week I'm doing some giveaways. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? Am I ready? How do I do it? Okay, here we go. Pick a random name. Pushing the button now. Start. Doop 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 deep deep dop deep doop boop boop beep beep boop beep boop beep 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 beep. The winner of the free course is Vladislav. So, Vladislav from Russia, please reach out to me. Let me know you want a free course. Let me know which one you want. Message me privately, email, that's fine, or whatever. Send me a message. I will give you the discount. If you guys didn't win, that's okay. Check out those courses. In the meantime, we might do another giveaway eventually. But the discount for those courses is going to expire pretty soon. So now's the time to grab those. And Vladislav, great job. Again, the reason is because Vladislav asked a question. So I put in the names of people who were asking interesting questions. Great job. Well done. Well done. What else do we have here? Visal, what is the difference between have you seen my pen and did you see my pen? The difference in actual meaning is 0, but the grammatical difference is in the past tense, it's focusing on the past. In the past, did this thing happen? Right? Did you see my pen? In the past, I want to know. Tell me. Have you seen my pen is it true right now that at some point you saw it? So there's not as much a focus on the past as there is a focus on the idea of this thing happening in the past, and it is true now that it did. I know that sounds like a nonsense difference, but if I say, I've been to Thailand 5 times, or I went to Thailand 5 times, then it makes it more clear. If I say I've been to Thailand 5 times, it's true now that in my whole life, that's the total number. But it doesn't really matter so much when each one happened. We're not focusing on the dates or the years or what. But if I say I went, then I'll probably focus on one of them and when it happened in the past. I went to Thailand a couple of years ago with my wife. I think it was in 2017. So then we focus on the past event. So for the pen one, did you see my pen? Have you seen my pen? Not really different. But it does get more different when we start to focus on larger time scales and focusing not so much on the individual events in the past, but on, hey, it's true that this many things happened, or it's true now that this happened at some point in the past, but I don't really care when. So I hope that answers your question. All right. Vlad, so you can email me. You can email me actually from the website. So if you go to the link in the description, go to the website and you will see a way to email me. Send me an email, and I will get back to you, okay? Or you can go to cloudenglish.net, cloudenglish.net. Go to the bottom, and then there's a contact box all the way at the bottom, and then put in your information, and I will respond to you. Promise. Let me know which course you want. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining today. I may do another live stream tomorrow. We might do one every day of the week this week. Just because, for some reason. I'm not sure why. Teacher, I still don't know your name. My name, Iman, is Luke. L-U-K-E, Luke. That is my name. And I appreciate all you guys for joining today. I appreciate all the great questions. It's been fun. And I hope to see you guys soon. Make sure you're subscribed so that you can see when the live streams are happening. If you want to share the live streams or the videos, make sure you do that. Check out the channel if you want to see actually produced, edited videos on various topics. Don't forget to hit the like button. That really helps. I would appreciate that. And, of course, check out that big sale that's happening now on the courses. That is a sort of once every 3 years sale. It's not something that happens often. So check that out as well. All right, cool. Guys, hey, Franco's here. Franco, we're just stopping. I'll see you guys next time. See you in the next one. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. We'll see. And have a good one. Bye-bye.